As of right now, Drive Empire is the single most popular racing game on Roblox right now, but if you play for a little bit, then you will notice that its gameplay is pretty simple. Join the game, get a starter car, and grind money to get the cars you want. Once you finally complete the game though, you'll notice that it starts getting very boring because you already achieved everything. You got the best car in the game, maybe got yourself a couple houses you wanted, so other than to get limited, what is even the point of playing now? So now you'll be on your way to find a new game to play. Oh, what's this? Car Dealership Tycoon? Oh wow, this looks very interesting. Oh. I've played this before. Okay, well, what's this game like? Oh, it's the same thing too, just with circuits only. Okay, no worries. I found one more game. Surely this will be different. So I think you see what I'm saying here. All these car games have the exact same gameplay. Join the game, get a starter car, and go on a horrible grinding spree where nobody wants to race you and you don't get money or not much money. And that is very similar with even really unknown games like Highway Hooligans. They all have the same exact aspect to them. But that's not all. Even new games that are not even released yet, they're going to have the same aspect to them as well. It's just a reskin of a reskin of a reskin and so on. What could you do to a game to make it not only different, but replayable or engaging? What makes a perfect Roblox car game? Well, today, that's what we're going to figure out. Let's get into it. Now, you don't necessarily need a base to make a good car game, but a lot of games are like that anyway. For example, Apex Autosport is going to be based off Forza. Apex Motorsport is going to be based off Gran Turismo, which is similar to what Project Track Day is like. And oh my god, Driveline X is going to be based off old freaking Driving Empire. Developers mainly do Forza because they think it is the most realistic looking car franchise. We'll get onto this topic a little bit later, but anyways, there is always this one game I see everyone completely ignoring. That game is Drive Club, a game released in 2014 by Evolution Studios for the PS3. Which looks better than Forza ever freaking could. If I was making a game, I would pick Drive Club for my base. So, now that we have our game that we want to go based off of, let's move on to the next section. Gameplay is the most important part of a game, so you have to make it enjoyable and worth playing. Of course, you will have yourself a starter car like any other game, but here's the catch. You don't choose this car. You're automatically given this car for free. Exactly what Southwest Florida does. You start up the game for the very first time and you are given a car for free. Now here's another thing relating to cars. If you look around and check out the UI and stuff, you'll notice that there is no money system. Okay, so how do I get these cars? The way you would get these cars is exactly how Drive Club does it. Unlocking these cars. Now don't side-eye me just yet, hear me out. You will not be grinding for cash. Instead, you'll gain XP, which you're going to unlock these cars by leveling up with the XP that you gain. Just like Ultraviolet said in his own video about Drive Club, unlocking these cars will feel so much more rewarding than just giving a buttload of cash and saying, hey, go buy whatever you want. Let's use the Ferrari Enzo for example. If you want that Enzo, you need to work for it. And once you finally gain the XP and level up to where you can unlock it, and you take it out on the road, hear that amazing sound, it feels so earned and feels like your time didn't go to waste. And the cars will be sorted from worst to best, so once you unlock that car, you know it's going to be better than the previous one. You may notice a bit of a boost performance-wise. Still kind of slower than you want to go, but you didn't grind a whole 12 hours for it, so it feels like you earned it. You put 10 to 30 minutes into grinding and unlocking a new car that is noticeably faster than the last one, and you only grinded for 10 to 30 minutes. If you grind for only 10 to 30 minutes, you're going to receive a car that makes you feel like you grinded for 10 to 30 minutes. It didn't feel like a huge waste of time. You worked hard for your Enzo. Now that car is going to sound and feel like it was worth your time. Now, let's talk about features. The game needs to be worth playing and fun. Something like a campaign mode would be super necessary, kind of like Drive Club's campaign mode. In Drive Club, you can collect stars to unlock championships. So what I have in mind is kind of what the Crew 2 includes. What if our perfect game here had races, and you have to win these races in order to unlock more races, which can make you receive more XP. But the more you do the races, the XP reward will start getting lower, which doesn't make the same race grindable constantly, and the game will give you a reason to do the other races, and since you haven't done that one race in a while, the XP has raised back up, so you can go back to do that race since it's now worth doing for the reward. Then eventually, you will unlock a super big race, kind of like a championship. and once you win the championship, you can receive a really special car for your hard work. Now something else I want to bring up is unlike Giant Empire who has their races in one place, they should be separated so races are everywhere, and of course there would be a mini map that you can just click on to use to teleport to races if you don't feel like driving. And with this campaign kind of mode, that's not the only thing it will have. You will have the races obviously, it can have time trials, maybe even time attacks, drift challenges, speed traps like Giant Empire would be cool of course, and high speed challenges would be awesome too. Alrighty, now that we got the gameplay and features out of the way, let's talk about our next topic. Now this may seem strange to you that I'm making a whole section for just the cars itself, but here's why I am. Drive Club had only 50 cars, not including DLC packs. Need for Speed Heat had just 127 cars. Gran Turismo 1 had just 140 cars. Even another Roblox car game, Car Zone, has just 56 cars. These all are really good games with very little amount of cars. It just shows you that you don't need a lot of cars at the start to make a game big. Why do I bring this up though? Because the thing we need for this game is quality over quantity. Start the game off with around 30 to 40 cars, all in a good range, no stupidly big jumps in the XP, a few cars to start off with, and add more. Also, don't feel like you need to update the game every week like Driving Empire. It doesn't need to be that often. If you can update the game at least every month or month and a half, then that's great. A month or so, I would think, I'm not a developer, is probably a good amount of time to add about 10 cars per update. That's a lot of content per update. Maybe add a new race or two as well, add a new feature if you can think of one, and updates will be awesome no matter the schedule. With the cars, take your time with them and make them detailed. Again, let me remind you, quality over quantity. Let's not be greedy. Now while we are trying to be different, we still gotta stay with some things in current day. But first, let's start off with the map. This should be obvious, but we need a big and detailed map. I would think Midnight Racing Tokyo is a great example of this. Super detailed map and super huge. Now we could also use their idea with the map selection screen, but if we want to be different and not steal ideas, we should just make one huge map with different kind of places based off different continents around the world. America, Japan, China, India, Chile and South America, some mountain areas, etc. And we don't want anything like Giant Empire where you can literally see the map gone from being so far away. Plus, we want to see the cars from far away as well, which again, Giant Empire doesn't do. Now that we have our map, let's talk about our lighting. Now lighting doesn't have to be over the top. It doesn't have to look like a showcase, but it still needs to look above average than modern Roblox car games like Driving Empire. Pretty simple, nothing too much to go over here. And for the weather, now this game needs to be realistic. And we don't need what Giant Empire has where we can just set it to day and turn off the cycle. It makes the game too easy. So while you're driving, racing, or anything, you gotta be ready when the sun starts setting. Once it's down, we got no choice but to wait until it comes back up. Again, with Giant Empire, you just set it to never go dark or anything. Along with Car Zone, never has a day change at all. And this also happens with actual weather such as rain, snow, storm, wind, etc. Giant Empire just gives you the option to disable it. Again, Car Zone never changes. Car Dealership Tycoon just has sun, sunset, dark, and sunrise. And Ultimate Driving also had time change and did have rain, but that was it. So for a perfect game, we need all kinds of weather and no easy mode giving us options to turn it off. Now chassis is very important in car games. Now with unrealistic looking games, chassis can just be anything you want. Arcade, realistic, or even simcade. But if we're going to have a realistic looking game, then our choices are very limited. We are not going to recreate what Giant Empire, Car Dealership Tycoon, not even Car Zone. The only game I can think of right now that actually has a realistic chassis kind of is Car Racing Unlimited. While yes, to the Giant Empire players and such, this will be very hard to get used to or it will be difficult to control the car. But that's the point. It's not supposed to be easy. When you first drive a car, is it automatically easy? No, you have to get used to it. Go outside into your parents' car or maybe even your own car and tell me where you can see the handling stats on it. We need more realistic chassis in games. It starts to get to a point where it really feels too much like a kid's game. We're just being babies about how it's too difficult because we don't experience real racing games like Gran Turismo, Drive Club, Project Cars, Need for Speed, etc. If you were to go and play these games now, you would hardly be able to stay on the road because you're too used to that vague, unrealistic feeling. Now just because we're going realistic doesn't mean we need to make it impossible to drive. So let's not make the cars seem like they can't turn at all and like they hardly brake. We are trying to recreate almost exactly how the cars perform in real life. You want to add a Porsche 918 and the braking from 100 miles per hour takes like 7 seconds? Then make the car perform exactly like that. If the curb weight is over 3,000 pounds in real life, then make it accurate in the game. Use Drive Club for example and recreate what they did. That is how our game's chassis needs to feel. Now this is completely optional, but it still would be a very big want for our game. With upgrades and tuning, it just needs to be realistic. In real life, can you upgrade a Corvette C2 and go almost 200 miles per hour? No. You can't. Real tuning and upgrades. Car is that old, so not much could happen to it before it blows up or something. So if it goes like 130 in real life, then if you do a max engine upgrade, it should allow it to have another 10 to 15 miles per hour so it doesn't look stupid and unrealistic going like 180 in a car that can't even do 140 in real life. Acceleration doesn't need to be over the top, doing 0 to 60 in less than 1 second or anything like that. If the 918 does 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds, do the upgrades, and to be somewhat realistic, it should be able to do at max 1.9 seconds. Now with tuning such as suspension, downforce, gear ratios, other complex stuff like that, it needs to be realistic as well. And finally, body kits. Now with body kits, we need at least wings. And no, we're not doing what Giant Empire does by just giving the same exact wing options for every car in the game. That's just lazy. It doesn't have to be many, but a few wings. Maybe like 3 to 5 unique wings for each car. And again, doesn't have to be for every car. But also things like wide bodies, real life body kits like Liberty Walk, Mansory, made up body kits. And if you want to go further, then interior options like steering wheel, gear shifter, and seats, and so much more. We need to expand the customization possibilities, but without seeming super lazy by reusing body options for every car. So a few things and a couple of other body options like canards and front bumpers would be perfect. Now I want to talk about sense of speed. Not a lot of Roblox games are very good at this. In Giant Empire, when you go 200 miles per hour, it just feels like you're going around only 90 miles per hour. A realistic Roblox game like Car Racing Unlimited isn't great at this either. The camera effect and camera shake is really hard to look at when you're going 250 kilometers per hour. It feels like you're going like 70 miles per hour. Now, if y'all have been on my channel for a while and saw some of my game reviews, you guys should know that I love camera effects and camera shakes. Now with camera shakes and movements and all of that, the best examples you will find are from console games. Forza, Need for Speed, Drive Club, they all have very good camera effects that are a good choice to go based off of. Now there are some games on Roblox that have camera effects, but they are very boring looking, or they are way too overdone and it almost hurts to look at the screen. So we need a camera shake that gives off a good sense of speed and actually makes you feel like you're flying. If you speed up, your camera zooms out more on your car. If you hit the brakes, the camera gets closer. If you take a turn, you need to be able to see the side of your car. And if you use Nitro, if it's an addition to the game, make it even more zoomed out to show that sense of speed. If your car is going 200 miles per hour, then make the car and camera effects feel like you're going 200 miles per hour. If you're going 150 miles per hour, make the car and camera effects feel like you're going 150 miles per hour. And it will look and feel so much better than other Roblox car games. Well, that's it. These are all the details on what I think would make the perfect Roblox car game. What do you guys think? Does this sound like a perfect Roblox game to you? Is there things you would want to change yourself? Or do you think my idea for a game is stupid? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear y'all's thoughts. If there is any dev out there who feels like trying to recreate this, then hey, shoot me a DM and I'll help you with the details and cars and stuff. And for anyone who does try to recreate this, just remember, never rush a game just to meet a deadline. Take your time with it to get it right. Have a good day everyone, and peace.